So it looks like Kanye West has today been banned by Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, from entering the UK, the United Kingdom, because of his history of anti-Semitism or hate against the Jewish people. So let's see what this is all about.
Ye, the hip-hop artist formerly known as Kanye West, has been banned from entry to the United Kingdom. The travel ban was handed down as he was set to headline the Wireless Festival in London this summer.
As a result, the festival has now been called off entirely. Prime Minister Keir Starmer wrote on X, Kanye West should never have been invited to headline Wireless. This government stands firmly with the Jewish community, and we will not stop in our fight to confront and defeat the poison of anti-Semitism. We will always take the action necessary to protect the public and uphold our values.
The Grammy-winning artist has come under fire over the past several years for multiple anti-Semitic incidents, including selling clothes with swastikas on them and releasing a song titled Heil Hitler. But earlier this year, he did release a lengthy apology for his actions, where he attributed much of his behavior to bipolar disorder, which he says he developed from a
I mean, I'm not basing this on any facts, but I feel like Kanye's smart enough to know now that everything has a consequence, right? If you upset a lot of the Jewish people, they control the media in the United States. They control a lot of the largest companies in the world that make people money. And if you upset the Jewish people and spew hatred about it, even if it has any degree of truth to it, you're going to be in big trouble. Which that makes sense, right? You can't just go talking bad about people, and especially conflating it with the Holocaust, and expect for no repercussions. I think Kanye is smart enough to understand all of that, and I think he might be playing a game, trying to have his cake and eat it too, and just apologizing. I mean, there's no way we'll ever find out, basically, so he can continue to gather information, and then if he decides to be upset at Jewish people again, it'll kind of just, he'll be able to surprise attack them. But here's the thing. I mentioned in my last video, which I talked about the Iran-US conflict currently with the Strait of Hormuz and how we've given them a little more time. And now Jared Kushner and J.D. Vance are going over to talk with officials from different countries in Pakistan about this. Possibly the U.S. banding together with Iran to toll the boats as they pass through, giving Iran money and the U.S. I mentioned that I wrote a paper exposing the U.S.-Israel, I wrote a memorandum exposing the U.S.-Israel intelligence complex since World War II. That's on my X. You can find it there. If you scroll down, I've got a lot of motivational quotes. Scroll down not too far, you'll find it. I'm on there at Shirley, SURELYLG, and you'll find it. It's kind of a mix of my names and a play on words. Instead of LG Shirley, SHURLEY, it's Shirley LG because I'm Shirley LG. But in it, I believe I reference France and the UK, two of the main countries that have really, along with the United States, been complicit with Israel's intelligence over the years. Look, the CIA has been responsible for all kinds of terrible crimes. That's our Central Intelligence Agency, right? and their job is to protect from wars happening and all kinds of terrible things happening. But they're kind of given carte blanche, the ability to do whatever they want, and the ends justifies the means. So they often do these repulsive things like experiment on people in torturous, unethical ways to get whatever they think needs to get done. It's highly unethical, and it's a problem that needs to be stopped within our government. However, governments like Israel and the United States and the UK and France believe that as long as you can prevent war and prevent bad things from happening, it doesn't matter what you do, and the American people don't need to know. So I have no doubt, I mean, and again, this is all speculation, I have no doubt that the UK is just playing ball because the UK, France, the United States, all will do whatever they need to, because since World War II, there has been so much back and forth intelligence trading, and Israel is our boots on the ground in the Middle East to make sure we get all of our oil. So they are our intelligence complex in the Middle East, so there's no way we can ever go against them. So anybody that goes against Israel always gets dealt with. So the Jewish people are pretty much, they've secured themselves in a place in this world where they cannot be criticized without whoever criticizes them suffering immense consequences. And I don't have, I understand all of this. I understand that we've probably needed that intel to prevent the other axis of powers, which you have the UK, France, Israel, the United States, basically versus Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these peace talks. I think as we are the people of the United States, I don't think we ever get the whole story. But let's continue listening about, that was kind of a little side rant there, but let's continue to see what Kanye West is looking at.
Brain injury when he got into a serious car crash more than 20 years ago. His apology said, in part, quote, "Things got worse the longer I ignored the problem. I said and did things I deeply regret. Some of the people I love the most, I treated the worst."
On Tuesday, Ye made an appeal to avoid being banned from the UK, but for now the ban is still in place. He said in a statement, "My only goal is to come to London and present a show of change, bringing unity, peace, and love through my music. I would be grateful for the opportunity to meet with members of the Jewish community in the UK in person, to listen. I know words aren't enough. I'll have to show change through my actions. If you're open, I'm here."
Despite the UK ban, Ye still appears to be going on a worldwide tour in promotion of his new album titled Bully. He performed in Los Angeles last weekend, and his website lists upcoming tour dates in cities including...
I imagine if Ye doesn't get what he wants, he might end up writing a song about how much he loves the Jewish people.
including New Delhi, Istanbul, and Madrid.
Well, I oppose his ban. I oppose them preventing him from speaking, singing, performing there. Obviously, the UK doesn't have a First Amendment, so I guess the government can do that.
Yeah.
It seems odd to me. We would not prohibit him from doing a concert here, even if he was still outwardly vile, anti-Semitic. I do, look, I'm not a particular...
I actually love that. I think that's how countries need to be, right? We should have free speech. It's amazing that the UK does not have free speech. And I applaud these guys. I guess he's talking about Is this in Ireland? Or is he talking about the United States? Anyway, I'm not sure.
Particular fan of Kanye, his music, or anything involving him, but I do frankly think he is mentally ill, and that explains his behavior and the things he said.
Oh, I don't know why. The other guy has the accent. This guy, he must be talking about the United States.
It's always very funny to me when kind of like liberal anti-racist people say, well, mental illness can't make you say racist things, which is just false. Actually, mental illness often takes the form of conspiratorial thinking about groups of people or different races. Mentally ill people shout racial obscenities if you encounter them on the street or in asylums all the time.
True.
So that's just false. Mental illness often manifests in this exact way. Now that doesn't. So when he says,
true.
And he apologized fairly profusely. Now that doesn't. It's not like I'm mentally ill and thus I have no responsibility for the crazy or vile things I say, because, you know, if I was drunk and crashed a car and killed someone, I wouldn't say, well, it's not my fault, I was drunk. Well, yes, but I also have a responsibility to take if I'm an alcoholic, to take steps not to be in that situation. So if you're mentally ill, it is incumbent on you, and I say this to, you know, people who are mentally ill on the street or cause problems on the public transportation, even if you were in some kind of psychosis at that time you assaulted someone, well, guess what? It's on you to take antipsychotic medicine consistently all the time and not take drugs and not find yourself in that, even if in the moment you're no longer in control of your actions, you were in control of the actions that led you to that point. So I'd say the same to him. He has to consistently take medicine to address his bipolar disorder or to prevent whatever stimulants cause that. And people who do those things and who are militant, I'm not saying it's easy, have much better mental health. These drugs work if you take them consistently and you stick to a program, and he is responsible for doing that, and he has more financial resources.
Not a favor of the medication. You know, a lot of mental health medication, and I'm not telling anyone to go off your medication, just so we know that, but a lot of mental health medication was discovered by accident, where they don't even know the mechanism of action for why it actually works. Maybe not a lot, but some of it. And I don't know, I think almost always the treatment should be therapeutic. I think there's a lot of progress to be made in understanding that. And I think our relationships create those issues. So I think often when somebody has a problem like being bipolar, they need to work with someone to correct things in their life that are causing them anguish. And then your mind can kind of sit in a better place. That's what I think. I'm not saying I'm right, but that's my 2 cents.
To make that frankly easier for him than about anyone else. So I accept his apology. I think that is the explanation for his behavior, but there must be follow through, and then it's, you know, up to people whether they want to forgive him or not. But I wouldn't stop him from performing on that basis. But I'm not in charge of the UK, so it's not up to me to decide.
Prime Minister Suave some other time.
Can you imagine?
Look, I think that, first of all, I do think and have thought for some time that he's mentally ill, because the bizarreness of the behavior exceeds the anti-Semitism and
Yes.
just generally
Yes.
Unhinged behavior. And I don't mean unhinged in any kind of mocking way. I think he genuinely has pretty serious mental illness. None of that, you know, I don't think that excuses or should make people sort of shrug off the anti-Semitism. Some of the stuff he said has been horrendous and just completely, like, way over the line into very obvious bigotry and hatred. In relation to the British ban, I mean, it's a long established thing that the British government can ban people from coming into the country when they're not British nationals, and it believes they will have some specifically deleterious effect. Typically, that has been used either for, I mean, I remember it being used to prevent people who were affiliated with the political wing of the IRA from going from Northern Ireland into mainland Britain.
Right.
Okay, so I did hear an Irish accent from him.
Or people who have a much more, I would say, clearly political agenda.
Like ideological.
Like ideological agenda. Now, I think sometimes they have barred basically like shock jocks and things like that. So it's a fuzzy line. But I guess I have less of a reluctance on principle to the idea of banning. But in his case, like, what? I mean, he's not there to have some like neo-Nazi rally. Like, he's there to play a game.
Well,
so
in all honesty, you never know what Ye's going to do. So, I mean, if you're saying free speech doesn't exist in the UK, I understand banning him then, because Ye's the type of guy that could say he's not going to do anything and promote unity and love and then come on stage in a Hitler costume. No disrespect to Ye, he's just established over and over again that he's that guy. And I mean, look, he's almost 50 years old, so we're going off of a lot of data for his actions.
in that respect, I find it a bit more peculiar.
Not that somebody can't change.
Yeah, it seems odd.
Yeah.
He's gonna be performing in Spain, in all sorts of other places.
Exactly. He's literally on a tour.
Right. I don't think and his fans are just everyone. He's just a big musical sensation. It's not
Right.
Right. It's not white nationalists are not coming
Exactly.
pitchforks and to
Exactly.
start some kind
It's
of
not like 50,000 Nick Fuenteses out there
Right.
or whatever. It's like a completely standard audience. And, he's a talented artist, obviously, and has been a very influential artist for years and years and years. So the idea of banning someone who's just coming to, in the realm of music and art and culture, that seems a little peculiar to me.
Indeed. All right, we've got a lot more to talk about on Rising.
Well, guys, that's the video. I think I said my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think inside of the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm LG Shirley, and I will catch you guys mañana. It's been great having you out. Have a lovely night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.